is used to describe the cleanliness of one's digital habitat. So, in short, I can say that it is like to say that prevention is better than cure. At the end of the day, digital security is an objective concept. What we eventually use for ourselves depends on our respective needs and lifestyles. We have power to draw our boundaries and choose which tools we want to use to be digitally safe. Just as we have become habitual to wash our hands regularly, if we follow the checklist to ensure digital hygiene, then we can protect ourselves from falling prey to scams. However, digital hygiene is not one team's or one day's job. It needs to be polished at all levels and should become a routine. It may seem like a daunting task, but it is well worth it. A number of digital disasters can infect us, causing extensive damage to our personal and financial data. So, it is important for every individual to practice digital hygiene. I ensure this seminar will be profitable and fruitful for everyone present here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Irshad
What?
Saab.
Okay, sir.
I really feel it a pleasure and honor for me and also for the all the participants that we are having with us, Dr. Kaisar Javed Giri as guest and resource person. We are really glad to have you, sir, with us. Dr. Saab is presently working as associate professor in computer sciences at Islamic University of Science and Technology, Avanti, and he is also director of information technology and support systems. Dr. Saab has headed the Department of Computer Sciences, Islamic University of Science and Technology for around 6 years, and he has completed two research projects, and three research projects are also in progress. Dr. Saab has published 26 research papers in different reputed national and international journals. I feel it very difficult to introduce Dr. Saab within this very limited time. So, without wasting time, I would like to invite you, sir, to share your ideas with the participants. Over to you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you, Dr. Sajad, for your kind words. So, at the very outset, I would like to thank the organizers, especially Principal Saab, for providing me this opportunity. Keeping in view of the time limitations and other limitations of the online delivery, online mode of delivery, I'll do one thing. I'll straight away go to my topic and see how much we can complete within the span of this seminar. Dr. Sajad, have you allowed me the screen
Yes, sir.
presentation?
Yes, sir. You can share. You can share, sir.
I'll share and kindly let me know if you are able to see the screen.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. Screen is visible, quite visible.
Okay, so basically the topic which I have decided actually since Dr. Irshad Saab has already told that we are conducting this seminar under the umbrella of Cyber Jagrukta. So I have decided actually to the topic which I am going to discuss is a very trivial topic, and it mainly focuses the kind of awareness about the cyber security issues. So the topic is basically management of digital hygiene. So I'll straight away go to topic and maybe somehow we may get in some time in between to discuss certain things. Since these are very trivial definitions and all of us, we know what hygiene actually means. So still for the benefit of the participants, I'll slightly go through the definitions and then it will actually open the way to discuss the things with respect to the cyber security and digital hygiene. So hygiene is basically all of us, as we know, it's a series of practices. And most of the times, every day we perform in day life, we perform certain habits, we have certain habits, certain techniques which we perform. So it's a series of practices performed to preserve the health. According to World Health Organization, hygiene refers to conditions and practices that help to maintain health and prevent the spread of disease. Personal hygiene refers to maintaining a body's cleanliness. So this is actually the definition of hygiene so far as the Wikipedia is concerned. Or we can say hygiene refers to practices associated with ensuring good health and cleanliness. The scientific term hygiene refers to maintenance of health and healthy living. The term appears in phrases such as personal hygiene, domestic hygiene, dental hygiene, and occupational hygiene, and is frequently used in connection with public health. The term hygiene is derived from Hygienia, the Greek goddess of health, cleanliness, and sanitation. So the bottom line about this hygiene is basically why actually we are trying to maintain a good hygiene is basically there are two things. One is basically want to maintain a good health. That's the first objective of actually doing number of practices day in day out we maintain do those practices. So the bottom line is actually we want to maintain a good health. Number second is actually we want to prevent the spread of disease. Since there's a possibility a person gets infected with some kind of disease, and then we are trying to maintain a good hygiene so that so that the disease will not get separated from one person to rest of the people. And in COVID-19, we have seen that, God forbid, if somebody gets infected with COVID, this disease, so the first step we do is basically we keep him in an isolated place so that a person has got no infected. We want actually the disease must not get separated from that person to rest of the people. So that there are two important things. As said, one is we are actually interested to maintain our own health, and then we are actually interested to maintain the health of the other people. This is a common definition of the hygiene, and we all of us we know the definition of this hygiene. And different things related to personal hygiene, which we almost see in every day. One is oral hygiene. Every day we get up, we actually go and we do the kind of cleaning of our teeth. So this is one of the hygiene activities, that's oral hygiene. Similarly, hand wash. We often do all these things, and most of the times in COVID, we used to wash our hands too frequently. Similarly, we take bath at regular intervals of time. Similarly, we clean our hair. We do the hygiene. We maintain a very good hygiene inside our home. Then we also know the kind of steps or kind of practices with respect to coughing if a person coughs, and what is the way to handle actually the best way to maintain the hygiene with respect of coughing. Foot hygiene. So we actually quite often we change our shoes, change our socks, and then we properly wash these foot. So these are some of the practices which are basically related to our personal hygiene. So as I already told you, the bottom line is basically the benefit of the kind of practice of doing all these things is actually we want to maintain a good health, number one, because we are confronted with different kind of challenge in the society. There are different kinds of disease which we are prone to. So the bottom line is we are interested to maintain a good health condition, and then we are interested to maintain a good health condition of the rest of the people. So keeping that in view, we are always interested to maintain a good hygiene. This is when we are living in a society wherein we have different challenges, we are confronted with different kinds of challenge. So in order to actually safeguard ourselves, safeguard our family, safeguard our nears and dears, we are always trying to maintain a good hygiene. So this is when we are living in a society. So often we do all these things. Now, since we are living in an age which is known as age of information technology, or sometimes we call it age of information communication technology. So there are some of the particular features associated with this digital life. So age of information technology is the most important thing in this information technology. Basically, information technology is nothing. Basically, it is marriage between your computing devices and your communication devices. This is a simple term. If layman's language, if we see what's information technology, it is nothing. It is basically we are combining the computational power of our computing devices with the communication power of our communicating devices. So it's simply a marriage between our computer system and our communication system. So we are processing some data, we are generating some information on our computing devices, we are drawing some kind of conclusions out of that data, and then we are sharing those conclusions, we are sharing that data with the rest of the people using the communication system. So this is actually the simple definition of information technology. So we are living in an age which is known as age of information technology, age of information communication technology. So when we are living a digital life, some of the particular features of this digital life. So first feature is that we are surrounded by large number of devices, and that is true with almost all of us who are sitting in this room. So almost everybody is carrying at least 1 to 2 mobile devices, which is a routine matter nowadays. Similarly, once we reach to our office, we have at minimum number of computers we have available, at least one desktop, and in most of the cases we have almost 2 systems available. One we have laptop, and another is our desktop computer, and besides our mobile devices. And apart from those, there are a number of devices which we are constantly surrounded by. Once we reach to our home, we have smart televisions, we have smart other devices available at home. So the first particular feature of this digital life is basically we are surrounded by large number of devices, number one. And then obviously we know the digital life and this information technology offers plenty of benefits.
Sir, तो even
So we can just see I am sitting at a different location, you are sitting at a different location, but it is just because of the information technology we are able to communicate. I am delivering, you are listening. So it is the so there are on similar lines there are plenty of benefits which this digital life offers to us. So we have used our data. Without printing the data, we are able to send it to across the continents just in plenty of time. So in a blink of eye, you send a mail and it reaches across the subcontinents. If we count, there are plenty of benefits which this digital life actually provides us. Similarly, interconnection among devices. Obviously, so all this is possible because our devices are interconnected. My device is interconnected with your device is interconnected with my device. So that is actually the way we are communicating in real time. Otherwise, we are sitting at distant locations. And in COVID-19, we have seen that people are virtually companies, they have worked successfully with the help of these devices. So employees were sitting at their home, company officials were sitting at different locations, customers were sitting at different locations, and still they were doing things in a very seamless fashion as if they were sitting in the physical offices. And then one more feature of this digital life is we are able to share a lot of resources. So I have some kind of resource, I am able to share it with you. So recently we have seen now government is shifting to e-offices. So no need to actually have the physical offices, no need to have actually to take the files physically. So these are some of the peculiar features. There are many other features. So if we look at the features, there's a huge list of features, but this is a limited list of features which I am actually sharing with you. So we are surrounded by devices. Obviously, all of us, we agree with that. So this digital life, it provides us plenty of benefits. That's why we are actually making use of this digital life and this information communication technology. Then our devices are connected, and because of those connections, we are able to actually take all the benefits of this information communication technology and this digital life. So we are sharing resources. So this is actually when we are we are living in a different kind of space now. We have shifted from this space to a different kind of space wherein we are bound by different kinds of criteria, different kinds of devices, different kinds of these equipments. And with the help of those equipments, we are connecting with people, we are sharing our resources with different people. So this is actually some of the features of the digital life. So if you just go through these statistics, you can just see this is global digital population as of January 2021. You can see active internet users. So this is number of users in billions. You can see it is 4.66. This is actually the January, the statistics is up to January 2021. So up to 2021 January, so number of active internet users, we have 4.66 billion users. So you can see how many people actually are now making use of these digital devices. So which in turn means you can see how many, my first point, that how we are surrounded by different devices. You can see because with the help of devices, we are actually making use of internet, we are connecting with the help of internet. So in other words, I can say there are 4.66 billion people who are, so in other words, I can say we have 6.66 billion devices which are surrounding us. So the count can be more than that because there's a possibility some of the devices, they may not be connected with the internet. So this is a kind of statistics done by the Statistica. So this is actually how many active internet users we have up to 2021. Similarly, active mobile internet users. So this is internet users, the people who are making use of internet, and then active mobile internet users. Out of these 4.32 billion users, they are using the service of the internet. They are connected with the internet through their mobile devices. Similarly, we have a very good social platforms available now. We are sharing a lot of our concerns on the social media. So active social media users up to January 2021 is 4.2 billion active social media users. And out of these 4.15 billion users, they are actually making use of the social media through their mobile devices. Now you can just make a rough estimate of how many devices are available, how many devices are there which actually surround us. So we are living in a digital life, and this is actually the kind of simple statistics. You can see how many devices are surrounding us, and these are devices through which we perform day-to-day operations. And out of these operations, some of the operations, they are just for pleasure, they are just for fun. We are interacting on social media just for fun. Sometimes we are doing some kind of interactions, they are just for fun or some kind of entertainment. But there are some kind of transactions, some kind of business which is a very serious business, which we are doing on either on social media or using the internet. Sometimes most of the transactions, most of the kind of business we do, it involves huge amount of money, and it involves a lot of serious kind of sharing of serious kind of data on the internet. So you can see out of these another simple static number of internet users worldwide from. So we can see, and this trend is actually it keeps on increasing. So initially, you can see in 2005 it was just thousand actually million number of users in millions. It was just 1 to 1000, 1 to 100 million users in 2000 who were making use of the internet. In 2006, you can see it went up to 216. In 2007, you can see it went up to 382. And if you can see in 2019, it went up to 969 million users who are actually making use of the internet. So the trend is actually it's increasing. If you can see, the curve is actually it's increasing. There is no kind of flattening or there is no kind of decline in the curve. And there's every possibility that in the future this trend will keep on increasing. It will not decrease. So that means by hook or crook, by compulsion or by willingness, maybe there's a possibility tomorrow if we are not interested even to make up this internet, but we will be bound to actually make use of this internet. Nowadays, you can see most of the organizations, they have shifted their offices, they have shifted their business in the online mode. If you can see in colleges, in universities, now we are trying to take examinations online. We are trying to submit our awards online. We are trying to submit our attendance online. We are trying to do a lot of things in the online mode. Which, in other words, means we are actually putting some serious kind of information on the web. We are actually making use of some serious kind of information, some kind of information. So most of the time is nowadays we actually take the fee from the students online. We deposit different kinds of fee and different kinds of dues. We actually try to make those things online. So there's a possibility in future, whether we are interested or not, there's a possibility that the system will actually compel us to actually make use of the internet, actually go us online. And similarly, you can see in 2019, if it is 969, there's a possibility after that. So this is up to only 2019 and 20 and 21. There's a possibility the curve might have grown to a very great extent again. So this is just a simple count of how many people are making use of the digital devices and what is the trend of actually making use of the internet, how people are actually getting involved in the use of the internet, and how the number is increasing day by day. So by actually, if we look at all these things, so we can just see we have actually entered into a different space now. So as I told you in the beginning, hygiene. So we are living in a space, we are confronted with different kinds of challenges, we are doing day-to-day activities. So we are confronted with different kinds of challenges. We are prone to get infected by viruses. We are prone to get infected by bacteria and other things because we are living in a space. So bacteria are also living in the same space. And then there's a possible terrorists are also living in the same space. We take a lot of precautions while going out of our home. So if it's a daytime, then probably we use a different mechanism. If it's a nighttime, we use a different kind of mechanism. So this is true with the kind of space in which we are living. Now, since we have actually entered into a different space, what we call a cyberspace, by making use of these devices, by making use of these technologies, we have entered into a different space, what we call a cyberspace. So the way in our this physical space, the way we are confronted with different kinds of challenges, you can see in cyberspace we have accordingly different kinds of challenges. So there are criminals and terrorists again in the cyberspace. The way we have criminals and terrorists. So if you move out of your house for a long time, for 4 or 5 days, or maybe for a long time, you keep your house locked. You keep someone there so that these criminals or thieves, they will not enter into your house. But when we enter into cyberspace, obviously the kind of challenge what we have in the physical space, those kind of challenges are also there. But the mechanism or the way they actually come, the way is slightly bit different. But in cyberspace, we again have different kinds of challenges. For example, we have terrorist criminals there. Similarly, we can see we have World Wide Web there. And this is the World Wide Web through which we are actually able to connect with different people across the different countries across the globe. So there are vendors also, there are people who are actually selling their products, there are customers also who are buying these products. And the way we are going to market in the physical market, and we actually sell certain products and we buy those products. And in the cyberspace, you can see nowadays, especially during the times of COVID, most of the people they used to prefer to go for online purchases without stepping out of their homes. They used to book certain items from their home. Then the people will come and there's a possibility in future a person will not physically come to your place, and there's a possibility a drone or something like device will come and that will drop the product at your home. There will be no physical interaction between any human being and human being. It will be all the kind of technology which will actually replace the kind of human interaction there. Similarly, in cyberspace, there we have different kinds of challenges. So the way we have terrorists, the way we have different kinds of business, whatever we are doing in the physical space, almost in the cyberspace. Kindly mute your mics because it's making a lot of echo.
All participants may please mute their mics.
So I have a request. If anybody has any question or anybody has any clarification, or we can have a small interaction at the end of this session, because otherwise we will not be able to complete this session in a fruitful manner. So the way we have actually, the kind of business we are making, the physical space, all those options are available in the cyberspace. So we have options for business, we have options for interaction, we have options for almost everything. Probably all of us know those things. So this is actually a kind of scenario when we are making use of these digital devices, we are making use of these technologies. So they actually take us from the physical space to a different space, what we call a cyberspace, and all those things, which the kind of challenges, all the kind of those challenges which we have in the physical space, almost all those challenges, they are also in the cyberspace, but they are in a different fashion there. So cyberspace. So some of the facts I just would like to actually mention when we actually talk about the cyberspace. So some of the facts are 97% people around the world cannot identify sophisticated phishing email. So phishing, almost all of us know. So it is, as I told you in the very beginning, it's a very simple program, simple kind of talk, just to actually separate the awareness among the different people. So one objective of the cyber jagruta is to separate the awareness among the people. Maybe in some after some time, maybe in the future, we can have a very kind of technical program with respect to cyber security, and we can just target only one particular area. For example, we can target phishing, or we can target some other kind of cyber threat. So this time I'm just trying to give a wide kind of awareness, just take you a tour about the kind of different challenges which we confront in the cyberspace. So 97% of people around the world cannot identify sophisticated phishing email. So if phishing email, we know we get an email wherein the intent of the person who sends this email is to actually have some kind of monetary benefit, or take some kind of money out of us without actually taking a legal permission from us. So 90%, 97% people around us, this is a kind of statistics done by Intel, that 97% people are not able to actually identify whether it's a phishing email or it's a genuine email. Similarly, 30% of phishing messages get opened by the target users. So you might have seen, and probably all of us know, that in our mail accounts, most on daily basis, we get a lot of accounts. So I am from a military person from US. This has happened to me. Now I have this amount of money I want to share with you. Kindly respond back, send your account number and this. So most of the times what we do is we simply click those messages and delete them. But 30% of people, they actually open those messages, and there's a possibility that once you open these messages, there are certain links. Once you click on those links, they share some kind of very useful information from your system to their servers, and they, by way of that, actually you become prone to different kinds of threats. So another point is only 3% of target users report malicious emails to the management. See, almost nowadays, if you get a phone call from a number, once you actually don't pick that phone and feel that this probably is not a genuine phone number, so after that you get an option, report this phone number as a kind of spam or something. So including me also, most of the times what we do is we ignore those things. So only 3%, it's only 3% of the people who get some emails, then they report them. Most of the times we delete them, but we don't report them. They are actually the spams, or they are some kind of malicious emails. We don't report them. We simply delete them and go ahead. 95% of all attacks on the enterprise network are the result of successful spear phishing. So 95% of the time is what successful they are through the kind of these spear phishing. So these 95% attacks, they actually happen through this spear phishing. Business email compromise. Scammers have cost companies over billions in the past 2 years. See, just before a couple of months during the COVID, I even got almost 5 to 6 mails. Sometimes the mails were coming from Vice Chancellor. So the name of the sender was exactly Vice Chancellor, Dean. But once I used to look at the email ID used to be a different kind of email ID. So what kind of impression you get? Once you get a mail from your principal, sir, for example. So once you see Principal Government Degree College, or the name of the principal, sir, so obviously it will be a kind of excitement for an employee. So principal sir has sent me a mail, and without actually going into details whether mail ID is correct, rest of things are correct, you will simply go and see what are the contents in this mail, what principal sir is desiring from me. So you simply go and you will read the message, and in case if there is any link, you will, without giving a second thought, you will click on that link without seeing what actually it will have, what kind of negative impact it will have. Similarly, in business, so suppose your CEO is sending some kind of mail to you So without going actually into details, you will immediately go and start reading the mail, start clicking on those links. Then by 2019, the cost of cybercrimes and the data breaches will rise to. So this is actually this is a very previous kind of information in 2016. So Soros is Juniper Research 2016. So the assumption that time was by 2019 the cost of data breaches, it will go up to 2.1 trillion rupees. So this kind of amount will actually be mobilized using these kind of cyber crimes. In 2015, 736 million records were exposed due to record setting 3,990 data breaches. So these are some kind of points which I would like to share. So these are some of the important points which I would like to share when actually we enter into cyberspace. So these are the possibilities which can actually happen to different people. And this is the kind of statistics what has been taken when we enter into cyberspace, because it's a different kind of space. Most of the times we are not well versed with the kind of equipments we are making use of those equipments. So these are some of the points which I would like to actually, which I was interested to share with you. So now we are making use of technology, we are making use of devices. So we obviously have entered into a different space, what we call as cyberspace. So the way actually in the physical space, the hygiene was very important. So hygiene is no way a guarantee that will not actually fall sick, but it is simply a mechanism to actually safeguard ourselves, to actually prevent our health to the extent whatever will be maximum possible within our hands, and to protect and to prevent the health of others to the maximum extent. Otherwise, there's a possibility, despite of maintaining all the hygiene practices, still sometimes we actually fall sick. But the management of this hygiene actually, it gives us a kind of protection to a very greater extent. And after that, there's a possibility still. But I will explain those possibilities even after maintaining good hygiene, digital hygiene, how we can actually still sometimes will be compromised. But now, since the clear this point is very clear that since on the similar lines as we have different kinds of challenge, we are confronted with different kinds of challenge in this physical space. Same is the case in the cyberspace. When we enter into cyberspace, now I have actually given you a very broad idea about cyberspace, what kind of things are there. We have trade there, we have criminals there, we have option for interactions there. So all those things are available also there. So that means if it is very important to maintain a good hygiene in the cyber physical space, that means it's very important actually in order to maintain a good digital life, in order to maintain a good kind of digital life, and in order to safeguard ourselves from those challenges which we are confronted in the cyberspace. It is very essential to actually maintain a good cyber hygiene as well. So let's see what this cyber hygiene is, and after that we can see what kind of practice we can maintain and what kind of different challenges we can have. So cyber hygiene refers to steps that computer users can take to improve their cybersecurity and better protect themselves online. So one thing is very clear that nowadays we have actually become part of the cyberspace. You can go, we can see if at our home, we can see if there are 3 people in the home, all of the 3 people, they are part of the cyberspace. There's no exception, just except maybe very small kids, just of age 1 or 2 years. Otherwise, most of the time you can see they are also making use of these devices. If you have kids at home, even if they are 2 years, they are actually making use of these digital devices. They are exploring different kinds of options using them. They are taking online classes, they are watching online videos, they are doing number of activities which actually refer to the making use of the cyberspace. So cyber hygiene refers to steps that computer users can take to improve their cybersecurity and better protect themselves online. Or another definition is cyber hygiene is a reference to the practice and steps that users of computers and other devices take to maintain system healthy and improve online security. These practices are often part of routine to ensure the safety of identity and other details that could be stolen or corrupted. Much like physical hygiene, cyber hygiene is regularly conducted towards of natural deterioration and common threats. So, as I told you, this hygiene is very important. On the similar lines, when we actually enter into cyberspace, when we become part of the cyberspace, this cyber hygiene is also very important. Let us see now what this cyber hygiene is and what kind of challenge we could have there, and how actually we can take a kind of take the measures which can actually save us from the threats which we are confronting in the cyberspace. So digital hygiene, the way we find the hygiene, we are maintaining the oral hygiene, we are maintaining the kind of different kinds of hygiene. In the digital hygiene, you can see, so these are different kinds of devices which we know. We have mobile phones, we have pen drives, we are making use of hard disks, we are making use of computer systems, we are making use of different kinds of devices So we have to actually see how we can actually maintain a proper hygiene with respect to all these devices. For example, you have a mobile phone, so there are different ways to actually kind of protect the use of those mobile phones. Sometimes we actually put passwords on those mobile phones. Sometimes we actually physically protect them. We keep them at a very safe place so that nobody will store these devices. Similarly, we are making use of hard disks. We are making use of pen drives. So while actually making use of these pen drives, while disposing these pen drives, we have to see actually what kind of measures we have to take while disposing them, while purchasing them, while using them. So there are different the complete life cycle of a digital device. For example, you are purchasing a phone. What kind of measures you have to take while purchasing a phone? What kind of measures you have to take while making use of this mobile phone, and what kind of measures you have to actually take when you are interested to dispose this phone. So the entire life cycle has to be synchronized, and it has to be taken where what are different kinds of measures we have to take throughout the life cycle of this particular digital device. It can be any digital device, it can be mobile, it can be any storage device, it can be computing device, or it can be any communication device. So the way we saw in the hygiene, we do a lot of practices. Similarly, there are some practices which we have to actually take into account while maintaining the digital hygiene. So, why digital hygiene is important? There's a history. There are certain cases which I would like to actually. There are certain cases. They are not probably so much readable, but I'll just quote few things which probably will emphasize why it's essential to maintain a digital hygiene. So there are some breaches have happened. There are certain historical breaches which have happened, and which actually emphasize that it's very essential to actually take into account the digital hygiene. For example, Dr. Sajad, can I switch sometimes between the this from English to Urdu or from?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. No issue, sir.
So there are certain kinds of breaches which have happened. For example, there was a particular breach. There was a very huge financial transaction. A company was actually asked to send money on account of some purchases. So unfortunately, the mail account number which was given was a wrong phone number. This account number. So what happened actually? The company, they actually transferred money. They used to normally transfer money into a regular account of the company. One day they got a phishing mail. Phishing mail was more of a similar type of mail. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हमें कभी मेल आ जाता है, फॉर एग्जांपल हमें प्रिंसिपल साहब से मेल आ जाता है, एज एन एम्प्लॉय हम क्या करते हैं, वो एक्सपेक्ट कि उस पे ऊपर से लिखा होता है प्रिंसिपल गवर्नमेंट डिग्री कॉलेज, वाइस चांसलर इस्लामिक यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी. सो वट एक्चुअली द हैकर हैड डन, उसने जो ऊपर से उसका कंटेंट था वो बिल्कुल सेम रखा था, वैसे ही जो कंपनी का नाम था, बाकी चीजें वो बिल्कुल सेम रखी थी, लेकिन बीच में उसने जो मेल आईडी यूज किया गया था, दैट वाज जस्ट बाय ए सिंगल डिजिट वो चेंज हुआ था. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर मेरा मेल आईडी कैसर जावेद गिरी है, फॉर एग्जांपल कैसर जावेद KAISER, तो ई की जगह AR डाल दिया था. तो इसी तरह क्या किया, मेल फिशिंग मेल डाल दिया कंपनी को कि दिस टाइम देयर इज अ प्रॉब्लम इन द प्रीवियस अकाउंट, यू काइंडली ट्रांसफर मनी इनटू अ डिफरेंट अकाउंट. सो somehow they actually got trapped by this phishing mail, तो उन्हें पैसा जो ट्रांसफर कर दिया. what happened actually, they transferred the money, it was a very huge amount. तो later on they came to know कि उसके बाद week was followed by 2 holidays. On the Friday they transferred money, so they could not get any acknowledgement within 2 days. So they thought it's a holiday, तो Monday को उनको acknowledgement मिलेगा. तो on Monday what happened actually, Monday को उनको mail मिला कि भाई your money has not reached, पैसा भी आपका नहीं आ गया, so kindly transfer your money. तो उन्होंने कहा वो तो हमने फ्राइडे को आपको भेज दिया. तो व्हाट हैपेंड, दे एक्चुअली saw the details of the account. उन्होंने कहा नहीं, ये तो हमने मेल आपको भेजा नहीं है. तो once the case was scrutinized, once it was handed over to cyber security, तो साइबर सिक्योरिटी वाले ने जब इस केस को इन्वेस्टिगेट किया, तो उनने फाइनली द पर्सन जिसके अकाउंट में पैसा डाला गया था, he was arrested. The person was arrested. The person was from Jharkhand. And he was a very poor man. Unfortunately, he was so poor that he had no account in the bank itself. तो जब उसको इंट्रोगेट किया गया तो उसने कहा कि आई एम सो पुअर, आई हैव नो मनी, तो अकाउंट रखने की कोई बात ही तो नहीं है. तो अल्टीमेटली इट वाज कंक्लूडेड दैट कि व्हाट हैड हैपेंड कि उस जो वो द पुअर विलेजर, उसका आधार कार्ड कहीं पे उसके डिटेल्स जो थे दे वर अवेलेबल ऑनलाइन. तो उसने कहीं पे डिटेल्स ऑनलाइन, कहीं पे उसका फोटोग्राफ अवेलेबल था. तो हैकर ने क्या किया था, हैकर ने उसी आधार कार्ड को यूज करके उसके नाम पे एक अकाउंट बनाया था. सो ही यूज्ड टू एक्चुअली स्टील मनी फ्रॉम डिफरेंट अकाउंट्स और उस अकाउंट में डाल देता और उसके बाद वो निकाल देता था वहां पे. सो दिस इज एक्चुअली काइंड ऑफ, these are the kind of instances which actually prompted to have a very better digital hygiene. यानी all of us cannot become the doctors, so all of us but at least can maintain a proper hygiene. Brush तो हम कर सकते हैं, we can take a bath, but we cannot become the experts. Similar is the case when it comes to the cybersecurity. It's not possible that all of the people, all the this population can become the cybersecurity experts, but there are certain steps. There are certain steps which we call as digital hygiene. At least those things can be maintained by almost everyone. So that is actually the kind of mechanism. These are the kind of events which actually prompted, and where from it was the kind of analysis was taken that there are certain steps which actually can be actually told to the people, and if they maintain those kind of steps, if they take care of those things, there's a possibility that a lot of these cyber crimes they can be stopped, or the people cannot actually fall the prey of these cyber crimes. So this is the history. I'll later on share my PPT with Dr. Sajad, and anybody who will be interested, you can go through these. You can go through the history of these breaches. So one was Biostar 2 data breach. तो Biostar 2 डेटा ब्रीच में हुआ क्या था, वहां पे ये हुआ था कि वहां पे जो इन्फॉर्मेशन अवेलेबल हुई थी वो लीक हो गई। कभी हमें लगता है कि इन्फॉर्मेशन लीक होने से क्या होगा। फॉर एग्जांपल हमने क्या किया है, हमने अपनी डिटेल्स देते हैं, स्टूडेंट्स ने डिटेल्स देते हैं कॉलेज के पास, या स्टूडेंट्स ने यूनिवर्सिटी में डिटेल्स देते हैं। तो कभी ऐसा लगता है कि डिटेल्स अगर कोई भी ले भी जाएगा तो इससे होगा क्या, मुझे इसमें कुछ भी नहीं है। लेकिन कभी क्या होता है कि देयर आर इंस्टेंसेस वेयर इन द इंफॉर्मेशन इज वेरी सेंसिटिव। फॉर एग्जांपल कभी ऐसा होता है कि हम अपने आइरिस की इंफॉर्मेशन दे देते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल डेटाबेस, there's a storage device जहां पे हमें इंफॉर्मेशन दे दिए, it doesn't take only our name, it doesn't take only our parentage, it doesn't take only our email ID, phone number, but there's a possibility it can take our biometrics। हमने कहीं biometrics अपना स्टोर करके रखा है, हमने कभी आइरिस अपना स्टोर करके रखा है, and when those kind of details are there in the database, and if a breach will happen, there's every possibility that it can there's a possibility that a very huge cyber crime can be performed on these basis, because those details which are very personal details. So keeping in view these breaches, keeping in view the kind of statistics, then it was the cyber experts, they came up with certain terms, they came up with certain kind of guidelines, do's and do nots, what we call as cyber digital hygiene. So you can actually see all these kind of you can go through the details of these. The details are available on the internet. You can see what kind of breach has happened, what was the impact, उसके बाद इसमें financial loss कितना हुआ था. So this is slight this history of कि ये हमारे पास जो digital hygiene की जरूरत है, why actually we need to maintain a good digital hygiene. तो उसके बाद हम हमारे सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है कि डिजिटल हाइजीन अब हमने देख लिया कि हमारे पास वी आर living in a cyberspace, there's a possibility of different kinds of challenge, we are confronted with different kinds of challenge. तो in order to overcome them हमें क्या करना है, we have to maintain a proper digital hygiene. लेकिन अब digital hygiene maintain करने के लिए सबसे पहला important point ये है कि we have to see actually कि हमारे पास जो है attack surface क्या है. For example, we have to see कि हमें where from we can get different kinds of attacks. तो लेट्स सी कि ये डिजिटल अटैक सरफेस हमारी, दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, दैट्स द फर्स्ट पॉइंट जिससे हमें पता चलेगा कि हमें हाइजीन में जो हमें प्रैक्टिस कहां से कौन सी प्रैक्टिस करनी है, किन किन चीजों को हमें, व्हाट आर डिफरेंट पैरामीटर्स वी हैव टू टेक इनटू अकाउंट. सो लेट्स फर्स्ट सी कि डिजिटल अटैक सरफेस जो होते हैं इसमें हमारे पास क्या क्या चीजें आती हैं. तो डिजिटल अटैक सरफेस में अगर हम आज देखेंगे, सो देयर इज ऑलमोस्ट एवरी डिवाइस which comes into digital attack surface. For example, हम देखेंगे कि आपके घर में यहाँ पे हम इस वक्त हम टेलीविजन यूज करते हैं, and most of the time we prefer to go for a smart television. Similarly, अगर आप देखेंगे कि हमारे पास जो डिवाइसेस आज हैं घर पे, मोबाइल डिवाइस, लैपटॉप, टेलीविजन, जो भी डिवाइस हम यूज करना चाहते हैं, we prefer always to go with a smart device. तो एक पर्टिकुलर क्राइम हैड हैपेंड ऑन द इंटरनेट, जहाँ पे एक हैकर ने क्या किया, उसने एक लेडी को एक मेल सेंड किया और उस लेडी को उसने कहा था कि he shared certain photographs of that lady, and those photographs they were very personal photographs of that lady. उसने उसके साथ शेयर किए, उसके बाद कहा कि these are your photographs, you actually give me this amount, otherwise I'll do one thing, I'll put these photographs on the internet. I'll kind of, the lady was surprised because the photographs were too personal and those photographs were taken in her bedroom. She got very surprised कि ये photographs, how he managed to take those photographs, and finally it was concluded that the television those people were using, the lady was using, that was a smart television, and the sensor on the camera of that television was actually hacked by the user, and through that television camera the hacker had taken some photographs which were very personal photographs. Then she was asked to actually, then the case actually went to cybercrime, and you can actually see there are plenty of such cases available on the internet, you can see. So if we look at the digital attack surface, so almost all the devices which are we are making use of these devices, they actually come under this digital attack surface. It can be your smart television, it can be your smart mobile phone, it can be anything we are making use. So there are a number of devices which we come in this attack surface. So let us slightly go deeper into this attack surface. Attack surface, if we look at this attack surface, Number one is public places. So at public places, what are different kinds of threats? We are prone to different kinds of threats. Or what can be the attack surface? In public place, most of the times what happens is basically when we go to coffee shops, when we go to airports, when we go to hotels, most of the times you will see Wi-Fi's are available there. We sit in the airport and for some time, if we have spent half an hour or 1 hour, हम अक्सर कोशिश करते हैं कि यहाँ पे नेट नहीं चल रहा है तो मैं देखूंगा यहाँ कोई फ्री वाईफाई तो नहीं चल रहा है, मैं उसको, और अगर वो उसका एक्सेस कभी हमें मिल जाता है तो हम बहुत इंस्टेंटली खुश हो जाते हैं, चलो मेरा नेट चलना जो है शुरू हो गया है. बट वी आर नॉट अवेयर अबाउट कि वाईफाई जिसने यहाँ पे डाल दिया है, सिंस देयर आर नो फ्री लंचेस इन द वर्ल्ड, तो कोई आपको फ्री में कोई चीज देगा नहीं. तो अगर यहाँ पे वाईफाई किसी का चल रहा है, इफ वी आर मेकिंग यूज ऑफ हिज डेटा, तो वो वाईफाई हमें देगा क्यों? तो व्हाट बेनिफिट ही और शी विल गेट आउट ऑफ इट? तो देयर इज एवरी पॉसिबिलिटी कि उसने जो वाईफाई हमें दे दिया, so through that he can actually get some kind of will use information from our devices. So public places पे जो हमारे पास जो अटैक सर्विस होती है, एयरपोर्ट्स, कॉफी रूम्स, तो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स व्हाट हैपेंस कि वहाँ पे जो वाईफाई वगैरह होते हैं, we become prey of the, we become part of the, we actually get compromised because of those private वाईफाईज जिनको हम यूज करते हैं, and we never know कि वहाँ से हमारे डिवाइस से वो किस किस्म की इंफॉर्मेशन को स्टील कर लेते हैं. सिमिलरली अगर आप देखेंगे हमारे पास we have at our office places, हमारे पास ऑफिस प्लेस में हमारे पास एक लोकल नेटवर्क होता है, and obviously we have our these institutions, our companies, they provide us the internet facility. तो हमारे डिवाइसेस वहाँ पे हमारे जो सिस्टम्स हमारे पास होते हैं, they are connected with in a local LAN, and ultimately that local LAN is connected with the entire network. तो वहाँ पे पॉसिबिलिटी होती है कि different kinds of mails can come to us, different kinds of those softwares actually can be pushed into your local company networks. So sometimes if you install them, similarly if we, so in digital attack surface we have chances of attack at the public places, we have chances of attack at our company, we have chances of attack our kind of homes. अगर हम अपना बिजनेस कर रहे हैं, हमने एक नेटवर्क बनाया है, वहां पे जैसे पॉसिबिलिटी, वहां पे भी जो मैं अभी आपको इंस्टेंस कोड कर रहा था कि आपके बॉस से आपको मेल आ जाता है, तो यू फील किया मेरे बॉस ने मुझे मेल भेजा है, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली क्या होता है कि वो मेल आपके बॉस का नहीं होता है, बल्कि वो किसी हैकर ने ऐसे उसको प्रिटेंड किया होता है कि यू फॉर ए मोमेंट इट सीम्स कि आपके बॉस ने आपको मेल भेजा है, you take some kind of action on that mail and ultimately we get attacked. So digital attack surface में हमारे पास जो है, we are there's a possibility of being attacked at the public places, there's a possibility of being attacked at the home, there's a possibility of being attacked at the office within our company, within our business center. Please mute your mics. So just let's have a look at the kind of different kinds of these areas which come under this cyber attack surface. So if we look at the network attack surface, so these can be the open ports. These can be very open ports. For example, last time I was going through a seminar, this workshop, and the work training program was organized by DST Delhi. तो वहाँ पे हमें एक डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन दे दी. तो डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन में ये दिखाया गया कि द पर्सन हु वाज डेमोन्स्ट्रेटिंग, उसने कुछ जो जिनको हम बोलते हैं वेब कैमरास जो लगे होते हैं, जो स्ट्रीट्स में लगे होते हैं, आपके घर में हमारे पास लगे होते हैं, हम स्थान में वेब कैम लगे, तो उसने हमें ही शोड अस रियल टाइम सम ऑफ द वेब कैम्स, जहां से उसने दिखाया कि मूवमेंट ऑफ पीपल एंड अदर थिंग्स. तो रीजन ये थी कि वो वेब कैम जो लगे थे, कभी हम घर पे भी लगा लेते हैं, दोज कैमरास वर इंस्टॉल्ड बट दे वर इंस्टॉल्ड ऑन द ओपन पोर्ट्स. So before actually installing those cameras or other kind of devices, first thing, the important thing is that we have to see whether these ports are open ports or they are closed ports. Because if the port is open, anybody can access this port, and whatever information is accessible through that port, that information can be seen. So if we look at the network attack surface, so one area could be, these can be your open ports. Similarly, these can be your services, email, DNS, chat, etc. For example, most of the times what we do is if we have a ऑर्गेनाइजेशन दिस वेबसाइट, तो हम अक्सर करते हैं कि हम उसको कहते हैं कि HTTPS पे चले जाएंगे, हम सिक्योर सर्विस, हम HTTP नहीं जाएंगे, क्योंकि देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी कि your HTTPS is more secure than your HTTP, simple HTTP. So your services, what kind of service you are actually using, so that actually can become an attack surface again. Similarly, Wi-Fi connectivity. So before making use of any Wi-Fi, you must think 10 times whether I must make use of this Wi-Fi or not. Why it is free? Why somebody has kept this Wi-Fi free? So this can, so far as the network is concerned, this is another area which actually becomes a part of the network, this attack surface. So it can be open ports, it can be services, different kinds of services we are making use of these services. So Wi-Fi connectivity, so vulnerable network devices. So obviously you have a device in the you are making use of a device, first you have to see whether your firewalls are activated, other things you have taken care, you have installed those all security related softwares. If you have not, that means the device can be a vulnerable device. Default network settings. What happens actually most of the time is when we actually install some kind of network device, there are some settings which are default settings. हमने देखा भी होगा, हम कभी कोई सॉफ्टवेयर इंस्टॉल कर लेते हैं तो हम क्या करते हैं, हम नेक्स्ट 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 पे क्लिक करते जाते हैं, वहां पे कुछ सेटिंग्स आ जाती हैं, देयर आर सर्टेन सेटिंग्स जिनको हम कभी सीरियसली नहीं देखते हैं। यहाँ कभी आपने अकाउंट खोल दिया तो वहां पे आपको टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस आ जाते हैं, तो हम विदाउट लुकिंग एट द टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस हम एक्सेप्ट पे क्लिक कर लेते हैं एंड विदाउट नोइंग कि हमने किस किस चीज को एक्सेप्ट किया। सिमिलरली जब हम व्हेन वी इंस्टॉल सर्टेन नेटवर्क डिवाइसेस, दे हैव सम डिफॉल्ट सेटिंग्स, सो we most of the times what we do is we go with those default settings, we don't change those default settings, and when we do those things there's a possibility, because those default settings are known to everyone knows what are the default settings, so these can become when we work on a network, when we are working on a network, so these can be the areas which can become the attack surface through which we can get different kinds of attacks. So we can get attacks to ports, we can get attacks to services, and we are getting a lot of attacks like emails, phishing emails we are getting through emails. So Wi-Fi connectivity, vulnerable network devices, default network settings. So this is one area through which we can get attacks. So another area is software attack surfaces. So another attack surface is through softwares. We can get attacks to softwares. For example, software patches. We have installed some software, and after some time, the patches are released. So while installing those patches, there's a possibility sometimes, if the patch is not a genuine patch, there's a possibility that it can contain some kind of malicious code inside, which can actually become a reason for the attack. Similarly, free and open source softwares. So why a person will create a software and then keep it free for all of us? So that can again become a source of attack. So free and open source softwares. We have to see while making use of any software, first we must see whether we genuinely need it, number one. Then we must do some kind of R&D on the Google to see what is the use of this software. And there's a possibility some person may have already actually put on the internet this software, it contains a malicious code or something. But once we don't do any R&D, once we don't do any homework, we simply install them, they obviously can become part of the attack surface. Similarly, pirated softwares. And pirated softwares, obviously, they can become a very strong source of these attacks. Pirate software means we are not purchasing the license, we are taking software from anyone and then we are installing that. And software cracks. And most of the time is what happens, we are getting a software, but the license is not there, the code is not available there. What we do is we get some crack, and with the help of that crack, we are able to install that. But those cracks, we are never aware about that, whether the crack is containing a malicious code or not. Sometimes crack can provide you the facility to install the software, but crack itself must contain some kind of malicious software. So again, one instance I'll quote. Last time when I was going through this training program which I told you, वहाँ पे जो demonstrator था उसने क्या किया, उसने हमारे demonstration purpose के लिए, there are certain demonstrations but unfortunately in the online mode it's not possible. तो hopefully अगर कभी offline mode में हमें मौका मिला तो we can demonstrate certain things. तो उसने क्या किया, he gave us an application. तो उसने कहा कि ये application है, kindly install this. So all the participants we installed that application on our cell phones. तो एप्लीकेशन जो थी, इट वाज सिंपली अ काइंड ऑफ वो जो गेम्स जो बच्चे खेलते हैं, तो एंग्री बर्ड्स टाइप ऑफ एप्लीकेशन, तो हमने उसको इंस्टॉल कर दिया. तो द मोमेंट वी इंस्टॉल द एप्लीकेशन ऑन द सिस्टम एंड देन ही टोल्ड अस जस्ट स्टार्ट प्लेइंग, तो हमने खेलना शुरू कर लिया. इट वाज मोर और लेस ऑफ ए एंग्री बर्ड्स टाइप एप्लीकेशन. तो हमने शुरू किया, दैट वाज अ वेरी गुड एप्लीकेशन. तो हमने बड़ा एंटरटेन शुरू कर दिया उसमें खेलते खेलते. लेकिन इन द मीन टाइम उसने दिखाया कि जो सिस्टम उसका अपना था, ही वाज एक्चुअली फ्रॉम हिज सिस्टम कंट्रोलिंग आवर मोबाइल डिवाइसेस. तो उसने दिखाया कि मैं यहाँ से तो गेम खेल रहा था, तो लेकिन वो कभी मेरे कैमरा को ऑन कर रहा था तो मुझे देख रहा था, कभी मेरे बैक कैमरा को ऑन कर रहा था तो ऑडियंस को देख रहा था, कभी मेरे मैसेज में जाके उसने सारे मैसेज पढ़ लिए. देन ही वेंट टू माय गैलरी, तो उसने मेरे सारे फोटोग्राफ देख लिए. सो दैट मींस आई वाज प्लेइंग ए गेम विदाउट हैविंग एन इंटेंशन कि ये जो गेम है इसमें कोई मैलिशियस कोड ऐसा डाल के जो अपने सर्वर के साथ कम्युनिकेट कर रहा है. तो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन ही वाज डूइंग विद द सर्वर, उसने मेरे मोबाइल का पूरा कंट्रोल उसको दे दिया था. रीजन, जो ही मैंने उसको इंस्टॉल कर लिया, इंस्टॉल करते करते उसने मुझे 2-3 जगह बोला ओके परमिशन विद रेस्पेक्ट टू योर कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर्स, मैंने कहा यस. परमिशन विद रेस्पेक्ट टू योर गैलरी, यस. परमिशन विद रेस्पेक्ट टू योर दिस, यस. बिकॉज मैंने पहले ही बोला कि हम क्या करते हैं, वी नेवर एक्चुअली कंसंट्रेट ऑन दोस थिंग्स. जब हम सॉफ्टवेयर इंस्टॉल करते हैं कि ये क्या मांग रहा है हमसे, टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस एक्सेप्ट, हमने कहा यस, लेकिन ये टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस क्या मांग रहा है, वी नेवर सी ऑन दोस थिंग्स. तो उसने मुझे परमिशन मांगा, कि he can the application wants to use my photo gallery, wants to use my contact numbers, wants to make use of my message. तो मैंने ये access कर लिया, गेम इंस्टॉल हो गई, I started playing game. जो ही मैंने उसको ओके किया, गेम ओपन हो गई, तो that was the बटन जिसकी वजह से उसने सर्वर को परमिशन दे दिया, और वो पीछे से जो बैठा था उसने मेरे, तो then he showed us actually how you can become free of these kind of things. So this is software cracks. So we most of the time install these cracks, but we are not aware about कि ये cracks जो है इसमें कहीं कोई malicious code तो नहीं है जो हमारे डिवाइस का कंट्रोल किसी और के हाथ में दे रहा है, वो हम तो यहाँ पे डिवाइस को यूज कर रहे हैं, लेकिन somebody else is also able to make use of this device. Then human attack surface. So these are different kinds of surfaces. So human attack surface is basically social engineering. आजकल हम जाते हैं फेसबुक पे जाते हैं, ट्विटर पे जाते हैं, तो वहां पे हमें कभी कोई फ्रेंड रिक्वेस्ट भेज देता है और उसके बाद वो बहुत अच्छी मैसेज भेज देता है, तो फॉर ए मोमेंट कभी हम जो है वो टेम्प्ट हो जाते हैं, यार इसने ये भेज दिया, इसने ये चीज भेज दी, तो आपको यू ट्राई डेवलप ए रेपो विद द पर्सन, वो उसी रेपो में कभी वो कोई ऐसी चीज लिंक भेज देता है कि इसको आप देखो, इसमें कार्ड है आपके लिए, वो है, ये ऐसा, तो व्हेन यू ओपन दोस थिंग्स, तो देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी कि उसमें कोई ऐसा मैलिशियस कोड होता है व्हिच गेट्स एग्जीक्यूट ऑन योर डिवाइस, and what happens is your device gets under the control of somebody else. Similarly, human attack surface can become social engineering. It can become social websites, जो हम अभी डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. Bring your own device policies. आजकल क्या होता है, when we send our students for some training, or when we actually go for some kind of training, तो वहाँ training providers हमें बोलते हैं, भाई एक काम करो, आप आ जाओ, लेकिन bring your own device policy है यहाँ पे. We have no devices for you, we have no computers for you. आपको वहाँ से घर से लाना है. This is a common practice almost everywhere now. Bring your own device policies. तो आप अपनी डिवाइस लेके जाते हैं, अपना लैपटॉप लेके जाते हैं, फिर वहाँ ट्रेनिंग कर लेते हैं. तो जब आप अपना ये डिवाइस वहाँ पे इंस्टॉल कर लेते हैं, तो देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी सम ऑफ द पर्सन यूजिंग हिज ओन डिवाइस, वो क्या कर सकता है, ही कैन कंप्रोमाइज द नेटवर्क ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, ही कैन कंप्रोमाइज द नेटवर्क ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूशन. तो ही कैन हैव सम काइंड ऑफ मैकेनिज्म जहाँ से वो उसको, ही कैन पीप इनटू द नेटवर्क ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, वो उसको ब्लॉक कर सकता है, उसको कुछ भी हार्म पहुंचा सकता है, और ही कैन स्टील और शी कैन स्टील इंफॉर्मेशन ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन थ्रू हिज device. Similarly, another attack surface is human operators. Human operators means कि हम क्या करते हैं, कभी हम एक आदमी को यहाँ से देते हैं, we send him to some with some crucial data to some other person, तो in between वो क्या कर सकता है, he can somehow steal that information, in between वो उसको information को steal कर सकता है. And one more attack surface is IoT devices. IoT devices, it's a very buzzword nowadays. IoT devices means we are connecting number of devices within our home also. So that again can become a kind of attack surface. तो वहाँ से भी क्या कर सकते हैं. So this is a kind of gist. Though there can be other these areas, but this is a kind of small gist through which attackers can attack us, through which they can enter into our space and actually attack us. Dr. Sajad, is it going good? Any questions or?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
going
Am
very
I audible?
Yes, sir. Quite audible. Quite audible.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So this is a gist of kind of areas through which attackers can enter into our space and then they can harm us. So this is the attack surface. So now if we look at this attack surface, so this is, it's a very small kind of funny thing. So we have narrowed our security risks down to these two groups. Now this gentleman is telling his boss that we have categorized these groups into two categories. One is through which are actually through which we can get the attacks. So this person is trying to say that there are two groups through which we can actually attack. Number one is everyone who works here. That means जो भी हमारी कंपनी में अटैक काम करता है उसके थ्रू हमें अटैक आ सकता है. Everyone who doesn't work here. In other words, it's a very funny thing. That means we can get attacked from any corner. So the people who work with us, we can get attacks through them. The people who don't work with us, we can get attacks them. So there's a possibility attack can once we are in the cyberspace, there is no limit. Attacks can come from any side. There is no kind of, you cannot narrow down your security risks. Your security risks are actually you can get attacked from any corner. So vulnerabilities. So what kind of vulnerabilities we have? For example, number one is deactivated firewalls. अक्सर क्या होता है कि हम लैपटॉप पे आपने कोई सॉफ्टवेयर इंस्टॉल किया है, आप नेट चला रहे हैं, फिर जब कोई वहां पे किसी वेबसाइट को एक्सेस करना है, किसी चीज को एक्सेस करना है, वो अक्सर ऐसा होता है कि वो उसको बोलता है कि ये आपको दिस इज नॉट, यू कैन नॉट एक्सेस दिस. तो कभी इरिटेट होकर इंसान बोलता है, यार ये बार बार ये मैसेज प्रॉम्प्ट करता है, तो आप फायरवॉल को डीएक्टिवेट कर देते हैं, बोलते हैं छोड़ो यार कोई बात नहीं, उसके बाद आप किसी चीज को भी एक्सेस कर सकते हैं. लेकिन व्हाट हैपेंस एक्चुअली एट द एंड ऑफ डे, तो जब आप वंस वी डीएक्टिवेट दिस फायरवॉल, समटाइम्स attacks come from those areas only. So it's vulnerabilities could be, most of the times do one thing, we don't activate these firewalls on our systems. So deactivate. So one area could be we have deactivate our firewalls and attacks can come instantly. और दूसरी बात है कि जैसे साइबर स्पेस फिजिकल स्पेस नहीं है, चोर आएगा फिर मकान में घुस जाएगा, तो इट टेक्स जस्ट ए मोमेंट, ब्लिंक ऑफ आई, जहां आपकी पूरी इंफॉर्मेशन जो है वहां आपसे वो पूरी वो आपसे स्टील हो सकती है. सो vulnerabilities are deactivate firewalls, deactivate auto updates. फॉर एग्जाम्पल व्हाट वी डू इज हम ऑटो अपडेट्स को deactivate करके रखते हैं. तो व्हाट हैपेंस, देखो क्या होता है कि व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन सम सॉफ्टवेयर इज बीइंग रिलीज, तो होता क्या है कि जब सॉफ्टवेयर को रिलीज किया जाता है तो पीपल स्टार्ट परचेजिंग इट एंड पीपल स्टार्ट इंस्टॉलिंग दो सॉफ्टवेयर. उसके बाद क्या होता है कि देयर आर सर्टेन वल्नरेबिलिटीज इन दो सॉफ्टवेयर, उनमें कहीं कहीं पे कोई प्रॉब्लम्स होते हैं, उनमें कहीं कहीं पे कुछ उनमें कहीं कुछ जो होते हैं जहां पे पॉसिबिलिटी होती है अटैक होने की. दोज काइंड ऑफ वीकनेसेस, दोज काइंड ऑफ issues are being reported to the people who actually design these softwares. तो उसके बाद क्या हो जाता है, वो उसके अगेंस्ट एक पैच बना के उसको रेक्टिफाई कर लेते हैं. लेकिन जो ही वो पैच वो डाल देते हैं, तो अगर हमने ऑटो अपडेट्स में ऑफ कर दिए होते हैं तो व्हाट हैपेंस, वो हमें वो अपडेट्स नहीं मिल जाते हैं. दैट मींस जो हमने इंस्टॉल किया है सॉफ्टवेयर, तो हम फिर भी उसी स्टेट में रहते हैं कि एनी पर्सन कैन कम एंड अटैक थ्रू दोज वीक एरियाज. सो it's a good practice to actually keep these auto updates on. So whenever there is an update, for example, आजकल हम देखते हैं मोबाइल में हमें जो ही अपडेट आ जाता है तो वो इमीडिएटली हमें सिस्टम पे आ जाता है कि there is an update, तो इसी उसको हम कर लेते हैं. Never ever actually close these auto updates. Never ever deactivate them. It's a good healthy practice to keep them always activated. Whenever there is an update, you must be able to get notification about that update. So vulnerabilities could be we keep deactivate these firewalls. We deactivate auto updates. Default login credentials. Since most of us all be knowing this, जब हम सॉफ्टवेयर को इंस्टॉल कर लेते हैं उसका एक यूजर नेम पासवर्ड होता है. तो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स ऐसा होता है जब हम इंस्टॉल कर देते हैं एडमिन, अगर आप ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम इंस्टॉल करते हैं तो उसका यूजर नेम भी एडमिन होता है, पासवर्ड भी एडमिन होता है. तो ये डिफॉल्ट लॉगिन और क्रेडेंशियल्स होते हैं. तो अब हम क्या करते हैं, कभी हम इसको चेंज नहीं करते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ आवर केयरलेसनेस, बिकॉज ऑफ आवर काइंड ऑफ एटीट्यूड है, ठीक है ये एडमिन. और आई एम श्योर दैट इफ यू गो टू द फिजिकल डिवाइसेस, तो ह्यूज परसेंटेज ऑफ दीज डिवाइस विल बी जिनका डिफॉल्ट ही लॉगिन और यूजर नेम होगा. तो गॉड फॉरबिड समटाइम्स सम अटैकर विल कैच होल्ड ऑफ योर डिवाइस. तो सबसे पहले जब एज सून दे ट्राई टू एक्चुअली गो इनटू योर डिवाइस, सबसे पहले वो शुरू करते हैं डिफॉल्ट जो हमारे पास लॉगिन क्रेडेंशियल्स होते हैं, तो वो देखते हैं. और मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल ऐसे होते हैं जिन्हें इसको चेंज नहीं किया होता है. सो इट्स ऑलवेज ए गुड प्रैक्टिस कि जब आप कोई सॉफ्टवेयर इंस्टॉल कर लेते हैं, जो भी उसमें डिफॉल्ट क्रेडेंशियल्स हैं उनको आप चेंज कर दीजिए. अगर वहां डिफॉल्ट पासवर्ड एडमिन है, अगर सिस्टम का नाम डिफॉल्ट ये है, काइंडली चेंज ऑल दोज थिंग्स, उसको अपने हिसाब से फिर उनको चेंज कर दीजिए. ओपन एंड अनसिक्योर्ड सर्वर्स. तो हमने कहीं डेटा रखा है सर्वर पे लेकिन उसको ओपन रखा है, हमें मालूम ही नहीं है कि सर्वर को एस्टेब्लिश करते वक्त वी हैव नॉट कंसल्टेड द एक्सपर्ट पीपल, कि वो हमें बोलते हैं कि सर्वर को एस्टेब्लिश करते वक्त आपको किन किन चीजों का ख्याल रखना है, व्हाट आर डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ सर्विसेज, डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ पोर्ट्स जिनको आपको एक्सेस करना है, तो उनको किस पोर्ट पे आपको रखना है, किस पोर्ट नंबर पे रखना है, विच पोर्ट नंबर इज सिक्योर, विच पोर्ट नंबर इज अनसिक्योर, विच पोर्ट इज ओपन पोर्ट, विच पोर्ट इज क्लोज पोर्ट, हाउ टू क्लोज ए ओपन पोर्ट. तो हम सर्वर इंस्टॉल कर लेते हैं, वी पुट सम वेरी यूजफुल इंफॉर्मेशन ऑन द सर्वर्स विदाउट नोइंग कि इस सर्वर की एक्सेसिबिलिटी जो है वेदर इज एक्सेसिबल आउटसाइड द this outside users or not, and how it is accessible to them. Most of the times we don't take care of all those things. So while maintaining the information on the servers, it's very essential actually. We must be knowing about what kind of ports we are using, what kind of, whether we are making these servers open to everyone, to open to some kind of registered users, some kind of known users. Then open ports. As I already told you, open ports, we are installing these cameras, CCTV cameras and other things. And there's a huge chunk of people. There's a website you can go. Shodan is a website. Shodan. You can go and you can see some of the in real time. You can see some of the CCTV cameras in the country which are working on the open ports, and you can see the movement of people happening on those CCTV cameras. Since those have been installed on the open ports, anybody can go and there's a website. If you get some time after this, you can go, you can open the Shodan and you can see the mechanism also there. You can go and you can see those open ports there. And then unpatched systems. Unpatched systems, as I already told you, okay, you have installed certain things, but उसके बाद क्या किया, उनको patches आपने install नहीं किए हैं. Time जो उनके updates आ गए, उनको आपने कभी update नहीं किया है, तो unpatched systems में उनको those can actually become the vulnerabilities through which these attackers can enter into our system and they can harm us. So then जो अभी मैं आपको बोल रहा था वल्नरेबिलिटी का, जो एक ये जो है, दिस इज एक सिनेरियो कि जब एक सॉफ्टवेयर रिलीज हो जाता है तो ये यहाँ से आप देख सकते हैं कि वल्नरेबल सिस्टम एंड एक्सप्लॉइटेड सिस्टम्स। वल्नरेबल सिस्टम्स मींस कि यहाँ पे क्या हो जाता है, दिस अपर ग्राफ शोज कि जो ही सिस्टम सॉफ्टवेयर, जब कोई सॉफ्टवेयर रिलीज हो जाता है, इन द बिगनिंग इसमें कोई वल्नरेबिलिटी नहीं होती है। इट टेक्स सम टाइम कि जब उसमें कोई वल्नरेबिलिटी होती है उसको डिस्क्लोज किया जाता है। किसी बंदे ने डिस्क्लोज किया वल्नरेबिलिटी, तो व्हाट हैपेंस एक्चुअली, दीज कंपनीज दे पे ह्यूज अमाउंट टू दोज पीपल। फॉर एग्जांपल कल को कोई सॉफ्टवेयर आ गया, आपने उसमें कोई वल्नरेबिलिटी देखी, आपने देखा इसकी ये वल्नरेबिलिटी है, दिस कैन बिकम ए पॉसिबल अटैक सरफेस। इफ यू रिपोर्ट इट टू द कंपनी, वो आपको दे पे यू वेरी ह्यूज प्राइस फॉर दैट डिस्कवरिंग दैट वल्नरेबिलिटी। उसके बाद क्या करते हैं, ये अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम जो है, दे टेक सम अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम, जिस पहले तो उसमें डिस्कवरी में थोड़ा टाइम लग जाता है, उसके बाद उसको डिस्क्लोजर में, तो जिसमें उसने उसको डिस्क्लोज कर दिया। डिस्क्लोज करने के बाद क्या हो जाता है, द कंपनीज दे केम अप विद द पैच रिलीज, वो पैच को रिलीज कर देते हैं, दे टेक दैट वल्नरेबिलिटी इनटू अकाउंट, और उसके बाद पैच दे देते हैं, दे सेंड अक्रॉस द कम्युनिटी ऑफ यूजर्स, उसको वो पैच को इंस्टॉल कर देते हैं। लेकिन उसके बाद क्या होता है कि जो वल्नरेबिलिटी उसमें होती है, जो उसमें वो रिस्क्स होते हैं, 310 पर दे स्टार्ट मिनिमाइजिंग। अगर आप देखिए इसका ग्राफ जो है, ये यहाँ से मिनिमाइज होना शुरू हो गया, तो ये वल्नरेबिलिटी जो है आहिस्ता आहिस्ता कम होने लगी, उनने पैच को डाल दिया। लेकिन जितनी देर में डिस्क्लोजर हो गया और जितनी देर में इनने इसका पैच रिलीज किया, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स क्या होता है, जो एक्सप्लॉइटेशन हो जाती है, एक्सप्लॉइटेशन इसी पीरियड में हो जाती है। तो जब पैच आ गया, फिर वो एक्सप्लॉइटेशन जो है, यानी दैट मींस कि मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स अटैक जो हो जाते हैं वो ड्यूरिंग दैट पीरियड ऑफ टाइम हो जाते हैं, जब एक सॉफ्टवेयर ने एक वल्नरेबिलिटी को डिस्क्लोज किया और उसको जब रिपोर्ट किया। बाय द टाइम द कंपनी कम्स अप विद द पैच, जब तक उसको सोल्यूशन लेके आते हैं, उतनी देर में क्या हो जाता है, इट्स लाइक ए कोविड सिचुएशन। जब तक वैक्सीन आ गया तब तक इनफैक्ट सब हो गए थे, तो जब वैक्सीन आ गया फिर उसके बाद क्या हुआ कि उसकी वल्नरेबिलिटी कम हो गई। लेकिन दिस काइंड ऑफ इज वेरी क्रूशियल। तो इसलिए when you purchase, whenever any of us purchase any software, we have to be very cautious about this thing कि there's a possibility कि there can be some vulnerabilities in the software, और जो ही उसका पैच आ जाता है, we must be the first to install that patch as soon as you see there's a patch available, go and install it। जब आप मोबाइल यूज कर रहे हैं, जो ही आप देखते हैं कि अपडेट आ गया, तो whatever work you are doing, the first thing is you must do one thing, जो अपडेट आ गया है, kindly install that update। there's a possibility अपडेट इसलिए आ जाता है कि one possibility is कि it will contain some kind of new features, but one possibility is कि there could be some weakness in the earlier this operating system, तो उनके लिए उसमें solution भी होगा। तो the moment you see an update, don't take a time longer time उसको अपडेट करने के लिए, क्योंकि there's a possibility उसी time span में जो है there very potential attack can come within that span of time। So common then this is basically these were points कि ये vulnerability सॉफ्टवेयर में कहाँ से आती हैं और कौन सा पीरियड होता है जो क्रूशियल टाइम पीरियड होता है जिसमें हमें अटैक आ सकता है, जिसमें अटैकर जो है अटैक कर सकता है। तो उसके बाद कॉमन हाइजीन, साइबर हाइजीन प्रॉब्लम्स क्या क्या हो सकते हैं, व्हाट कुड बी द डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स व्हिच कैन हैपन, व्हिच कैन ऑकर ड्यू टू दिस if you don't maintain a proper cyber hygiene, what could be different problems which can actually happen। So number one is loss of data। Loss of data means we will lose the data। Hard drives and online cloud storage is that is not backed up or maintained vulnerable to hacking। So one problem is we have a very essential data, we will, because of this we can lose that data। Number one is misplaced data। Misplaced data means poor cyber hygiene could mean losing data in other ways। The information may not be correct or gone for good, but with so many places to store misplacing files is becoming increasingly। तो आपने कहीं पे रखा था, इसको मिसप्लेस करके कहीं और किसी जगह ले जाएगा, you will not be able to find it। तो अगर आप देखेंगे वेबसाइट्स वगैरह अक्सर हैक हो जाते हैं because they are not able to actually connect with their databases and then they are not able to get their data। तो वहाँ किसी और जगह उनको कनेक्ट किया जाता है, they send a very kind of trash data जो which is not very much relevant। Security breaches में मैंने आपको बोला there are constant and immediate threats to all the enterprise data, phishing, hackers, malware, spam, virus। तो एक ही हमारे पास कॉमन हाइजीन, अगर हम साइबर हाइजीन मेंटेन नहीं करेंगे, we can lose data, our data can get misplaced from one place to another place। Security breaches like phishing, आपको मेल आ गया, आपने उसको रिस्पॉन्ड किया, उसके बाद आपको पैसा चला गया। Recently what happened, a particular lady, she purchased some items from online website just before almost 3-4 months and she is known to me। तो उसने क्या किया, उसने परचेज किया, उसके बाद जो उसके पास वो आइटम पहुंच गया, तो उसने एंड द वेबसाइट वाज वेरी ट्रेवल वेबसाइट, उसका कोई ज्यादा उतना रेपो नहीं था, लेकिन आइटम बड़ा अच्छा दिख रहा था वहां पे। तो उसने जब आइटम को देखा, तो उसने देखा देयर वाज सम प्रॉब्लम विद रिस्पेक्ट साइज ऑफ द आइटम। तो वो नेट पे गए, उसने देखा कि उस वेबसाइट को सर्च किया कि उनका कोई कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर तो नहीं है जिसपे उनको कॉन्टैक्ट किया जाए। देयर वाज अ वेबसाइट वेरी सिमिलर टू द सेम वेबसाइट, थोड़ा सा उसमें चेंज थी, उसमें कहीं एक डिजिट का चेंज था, तो उसको लगा कि ये वही वेबसाइट है, उसने उनको फोन कर दिया, उस पर कस्टमर केयर नंबर जो था, तो वो जो हैकर था उसने इमीडिएटली कॉल बैक किया, कहा यस आप बताइए क्या। हमने बोला कि ऐसे आइटम लिया था। उन्होंने बोला कोई बात नहीं, आप एक काम कीजिए, यू जस्ट डू वन थिंग, गिव अस द अकाउंट डिटेल्स, हम आपको पैसे डाल देंगे और अभी हमारा बंदा आएगा उसको आइटम को लेने के लिए। तो अनफॉर्चुनेटली शी शेयर द अकाउंट डिटेल्स। उसके बाद 2-3 मिनट के बाद उसको लिंक एक आ गई, कहा कि आप एक काम कीजिए, इंस्टेंटली पैसे लेने के लिए ये लिंक है, इस पर क्लिक कीजिए। तो उससे वो एनी डेस्क उसका इंस्टॉल हो गया उसके मोबाइल पे। तो एनी डेस्क इंस्टॉल होने के बाद तो वो अभी शी शेयर्ड अ कोड विद देम, हमने कहा कोड एक शेयर कर लो तो हम आपको ट्रांसफर कर लेंगे, देन आफ्टर 1 आवर पर्सन विल कम। तो जो उसने कोड शेयर किया तो उसके अकाउंट से पैसा जो है डेबिट होना शुरू हो गया, 49,999 रुपीज, क्योंकि 50,000 पे कुछ बैंक है सम काइंड ऑफ प्रोसीजर फॉर दैट। तो जब एक ये ट्रांजेक्शन हो गई डेबिट, जब दूसरी हो गई शी गॉट फ्रस्ट्रेटेड, तो उसने इंस्टेंटली शी मैनेज इट, उसने बैंक वालों को फोन करके कहा, उसने वो एनीडेस्क जो है उसको अनइंस्टॉल कर दिया, बैंक वालों को फोन करके अपना अकाउंट जो है वो ब्लॉक कर दिया, अदरवाइज जितने भी पैसे उसके उसमें थे। सो दिस इज काइंड ऑफ जो आपके पास ये फिशिंग अटैक्स आते हैं, ये मॉलवेयर, स्पेस वाइड्स, सिक्योरिटी ब्रीचेस, तो देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी यू कैन बी टेकन, लॉट ऑफ मनी कैन बी टेकन आउट ऑफ योर अकाउंट और आपको पता भी नहीं चल जाएगा, आउट ऑफ डेटा softwares. Similarly, these are some of the threats which can be there if we don't maintain a proper cyber hygiene. तो ये हमारे पास these are very small statistics के cyber crime report in India. So you can see these are from 2013 and 2020. You can see in 2013 there were 5,693 cyber crimes. In 2014, you can see in 2020 the number of cyber crimes have grown up to 50,035. So there are few instances which recently happened here also. I am quite aware about those instances जहाँ पे even 50,000, 80,000, 90,000 रुपीज भी जो है वो कस्टमर्स के अकाउंट से उनको चुराया गया, क्योंकि इसमें तो ड्यूरिंग द कोविड टाइम सब लोगों ने मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम दे वर डूइंग द परचेज यूजिंग द ऑनलाइन. सो यू कैन सी दिस इज अ cyber crime report of India in 2000 from 2013 to 2020. So keeping in view all these things and keeping in view the entire scenario, what government of India decided in the wake of exponential increase the number of internet users on the social platforms and subsequent increase in cyber crimes on day-to-day basis, it is felt that there is a pressing need to separate awareness among people for prevention of cyber crimes. So in order to deal with the menace of cyber crimes in the coordinated manner, Ministry of Home Affairs is implementing a scheme called Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center, 14C. So ministry has also developed a national cybercrime reporting portal where people can report if anybody feels any problem or if anybody gets compromised, then you can actually complain on this portal. So all the states and duties were accordingly, they were actually requested to observe the Cyber Jagrukta Awareness Divas. So this is actually the result of all these, what I was telling. So the result of all this is that now the country has decided that we will actually celebrate this Cyber Jagrukta Awareness Divas, Cyber Jagrukta Divas. So the aim of the Cyber Jagrukta Divas is to actually separate the information, to separate the awareness among the people, so that they can actually, at their own level, they will be able to maintain a good cyber hygiene, so that they will not become the victim of all these cyber crimes. Dr. Sajjad Sahab, do we have more time or I need to close the session?
So I think it should be concluded now.
Okay, so I feel really sorry. It would have been very nice if the session could have been conducted in a very in offline mode, but since the option is not with us, so there are many slides still left. But since there is a limitation of time, what I'll do is I'll share this PPT with you later on. Then, if possible, you can share with your participants so that they can. So this is actually
we can have many interactions in future also with your good self.
So actually, I'll conclude here. So the objective of this Cyber Jagrukta Divas was actually to separate the awareness among the people, to make them aware of how they can actually become the part of the, they can be compromised, how they can be attacked by these attackers. So this is the main idea of celebrating the Cyber Jagrukta Divas. So there are certain slides which probably I will not be able to now cover. Unfortunately, there were certain steps to maintain the good. So managing your smart devices, how we can maintain them. Hopefully, we can get some more time in future, and hopefully, I'll cover all these things. What are different kinds of good practices? What are different kinds of steps we have to take in order to maintain For example, there are few points. Last time I was, before I conclude, so I was attending the training program. There was a lady from the, she was from Raw. She was from Raw. तो उसके पास शी वाज कैरिंग टू मोबाइल फोन्स. एक मोबाइल फोन उसके पास एंड्रॉइड मोबाइल फोन था, दूसरा उसके पास मोबाइल फोन था वो नोकिया 1100 और समथिंग लाइक दिस. तो जब मैंने उसको देखा, वी वर डूइंग वर्कशॉप फॉर 2 वीक्स, तो मुझे ये जहन में रहा कि भाई शी इज मेकिंग यूज ऑफ दिस, शी वाज ए वेरी हाई फाई लेडी. तो मैंने कहा कि आपने ये छोटा मोबाइल क्यों रखा है? तो जस्ट सी वेरी व्हाट वाज द रिप्लाई. तो उसने कहा सर मैंने जो एंड्रॉइड फोन रखा है ये बड़ा मोबाइल फोन है, वो दैट वाज ऑलमोस्ट 1 लाख प्लस. तो मेरे ये दिमाग में क्यूरियोसिटी रही कि एक साइड से तो इसके पास बहुत बड़ा फोन है, दूसरी साइड से इतना छोटा फोन है. उसने कहा सर ये बेसिकली मैंने ये मोबाइल फोन इसलिए रखा है कि मेरे जितने भी ट्रांजेक्शंस हैं, फाइनेंशियल ट्रांजेक्शंस जो भी मैं करती हूँ, उनका जो ओटीपी आता है वो इस नोकिया 1100 पे आता है, क्योंकि उसको इंटरनेट के साथ कनेक्ट करने का कोई स्कोप ही नहीं है. उसमें तो है ही नहीं वो एंड्रॉइड, उसमें तो है ही नहीं. और बाकी चीजें जो मैं करती हूँ मैं वो इससे करती हूँ, लेकिन इस पे मैंने रखा है. सो यू कैन जस्ट इमेजिन कि एक कॉमन यूजर जो है विदाउट नोइंग द हाई फाई फंडास ऑफ द साइबर सिक्योरिटी छोटी छोटी चीजें भी कर सकता है, जिससे वो सिमिलरली अगर आपको ये घर पे एक मोबाइल फोन खरीदना है, यू कैन डिसाइड अबाउट कि मुझे एंड्रॉइड फोन ही खरीदना है या आपको बच्चे को फोन देना है स्कूल का सन. तो उसके साथ अगर ऑब्जेक्टिव यही है कि उसके साथ कम्युनिकेशन करना है, आप पहुंचे या नहीं पहुंचे, व्हाई टू गिव मी एंड्रॉइड फोन, व्हाई टू गिव मी हाई फाई फोन. वहां तो पॉसिबिलिटी है, एक छोटा फोन ले सकते हैं जिसपे आपको ये ऑप्शन होगा कि आप फोन कर सकते हैं, मैसेजिंग कर सकते हैं. सो देयर आर सर्टेन गुड प्रैक्टिसेस व्हिच वी कैन मेंटेन. सो इंशाल्लाह इफ वी गेट टाइम इन फ्यूचर वी कैन श्योरली कवर ऑल दोस थिंग्स. सो आई विल कंक्लूड माय सेशन हियर with a sorry I could not complete all the steps which I was interested to actually complete. So with these words I can close my session here and I hand over the mic to Dr. Sajad.
Thank you, sir. It was really a very nice presentation, and we have learned so many new things from you, your good self. Uh, you have made all the participants aware about how to protect ourselves from different malicious users on the internet, how to use different electronic gadgets in a useful manner, and you have made us aware how to protect ourselves from cyber attacks, what are the different vulnerabilities, and all important other important issues have been highlighted. Now, I would like to request our worthy principal, Dr. Nazir Ahmad Simnani, sir. Sir, please share your speech of these words of wisdom with us.
Principal sir is not audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Principal sir is muted.
Okay, okay.
Sir.
Yes, now I am audible.
Yes, sir. You are audible now.
Yes, yes. Guest speaker of the day, Dr. Kaisar Javed Saab, faculty members and other student participants. Assalamu alaikum. Today we have deliberated upon a topic, digital hygiene, as a part of Cyber Jagrukta Divas. The aim and objective of organizing these programs is to sensitize you all about the different fields of cyber world. I think resource person has discussed and deliberated thoroughly on the topic, and I am sure that it will definitely help us in day-to-day life, as we all are active users of different digital devices. I again thank Dr. Girisa for sparing his time and sharing valuable information with us. I also thank organizers of this program, especially Professor Sajad Saab, and expect that he will continue with these programs in future as well. Girisa, definitely this was a very, very nice lecture. I was patiently hearing you, and definitely, inshallah, in future, we will invite you to this college and discuss other things which have left there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I'm extremely thankful to all those who have facilitated us to make this event successful. Especially our worthy principal sir has always been kind enough to organize such informative programs. Thanks to our resource person for enlightening us with various aspects of digital hygiene. My thanks to the organizers, my colleague, Professor Shabim, Professor Irshad, Dr. Yunus, Dr. Shabir, and all the faculty and participants who listened to our honored speaker very patiently. So thank you all. Allah Hafiz. Participants can leave now.
Sajjad Saab, can I leave the session? Meşhur friend है Shamim sir.
Shamim Saab is also present.
Bosu wait karan sir. Prazneva kenna. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum sir. Sorry sir. Sorry. तो थोमत वीडियो करिस ना म्यूट जैसे ये क्लोज गडने
Video